You know that specific feeling I'm talking about?
Mm.
It's almost physical.
Oh, yeah.
You're walking through a store, maybe just to grab a pair of socks or something, and then you see it. That bright, bold red sticker.
50% off?
Exactly. Or a massive clearance banner, and your heart just does this little jump.
It's the retail siren song. It really is.
It's a rush of excitement, like you've just stumbled onto buried treasure in the middle of the appliance aisle. It feels like a win. You think, I am smart.
Mm.
I am beating the system.
It's a very, very specific dopamine hit. It's the thrill of the hunt, but it's also the satisfaction of, like, being responsible. But today, we're going to unpack why that exact feeling is the trap.
Okay.
We're diving into a concept called price anchoring. And honestly, this isn't just about clearance sales. It's a whole psychological architecture retailers have built to get us to buy things we don't need at prices that aren't actually special at all.
That is the part that gets me. We all like to think we're these rational, logical people. But the source material we're digging into today, an analysis called The Illusion of Savings, How Price Anchoring Distorts Value, it suggests that the moment we see a sale tag, our logic just shuts down.
It completely shuts down. And our mission for this deep dive is to explain why your brain, and my brain, for that matter, prefers the feeling of saving money over, actually paying less.
Right.
We want to look at the neuroscience behind it and then give you some real specific mental tools to spot when a deal is actually a manipulation.
Because, spoiler alert, if you're looking at a crossed-out price, you're being manipulated.
100%.
And to really get how this works, we have to talk about Emily.
Yeah.
Emily is from a case study in our source material, but man, her story felt a little too familiar. I think everyone's going to relate to this one.
It's the classic, I'm just popping in for one thing scenario. So Emily goes into a Kohl's. Her mission is simple. Return a shirt. In and out.
Famous last words.
Right. She is definitely not shopping for a blender. She already has a blender that works perfectly fine.
I feel like every bad financial decision I've ever made started with, I'm just going in to return something. It is the most dangerous moment.
It is. So she's walking past the small appliances section, and she sees it, the sticker. It says, was $109.99, and right below that, in big letters,
Save $55. And that's the hook.
But here's the thing, and this is what I want to dig into. She doesn't need a blender, but she sees that tag, say $55, and the analysis says she felt responsible for buying it. She felt strategic. How does spending money make you feel like you're saving it?
That's the paradox of what economists call transactional utility. You see, we get satisfaction from the product itself, right? Acquisition utility. Does the blender blend? Great.
Okay.
But transactional utility is the pleasure you get from the deal. It's that feeling you get from paying less than the reference price.
So the joy isn't, I have a new blender. The joy is, I beat the price. Exactly. So she buys it, she takes it home, riding that high. But then, curiosity kicks in. She decides to check the model number online.
The moment of truth.
She looks it up on Amazon, and what does she find?
Let me guess. Not $110.
Not even close. It's listed for $56. No sale banner, no countdown timer, just $56. And when she looks at price tracking data, it shows the blender hovered between $54 and $59 for the entire year.
Ouch. So that was $109.99. That was complete fiction.
It was a ghost. It never really existed in the marketplace. The blender wasn't discounted from $110. It was designed, shipped, and marketed to be a $55 blender. That was always the price.
Wow.
That higher number was just there to make the real standard price feel like this huge win.
So the tag said you save $55, but her bank account just said you spent $55.
Precisely. And only one of those statements is actually true.
Yeah.
Emily didn't save anything. She spent money on something she didn't need, all because a fake reference price triggered this psychological effect called anchoring.
Okay, let's unpack anchoring properly. Because it sounds simple. Show a high number so the low number looks good. But why does our brain fall for it so hard? Why can't I just evaluate a blender as a $55 blender?
This gets us into the neuroscience of it. The fundamental issue is that humans are terrible at evaluating prices in a vacuum.
In isolation.
Yeah, we just don't have an internal value meter that tells us a blender should cost exactly this much. So we look for shortcuts. We look for a reference point.
And the was price becomes that anchor.
Exactly. When you see was $100, now $50, your brain just latches on to that 100. That is the anchor. It sets the context, it sets the expectation of quality and value, and once that's locked in, $50 feels incredibly cheap by comparison.
So we aren't judging the $50 against our budget. We're judging it against the $100.
Right. It's called reference dependence. And here's where it gets a little scary. There's a study from the Journal of Consumer Research that we have to talk about. They showed people identical products, same quality, same features, everything. But for some groups, the product was shown next to a crossed-out higher price.
And I'm guessing they perceive those as being better.
Much better. They rated them as higher quality and a better value. But here's the kicker. This is the crucial detail.
Go on.
This effect. It persisted even when they explicitly warned the participants that the original price might be inflated.
Wait, hold on. You're saying even if I know they're lying to me, even if I know that price is probably fake, it still works?
To a degree, yes, because it creates this conflict in your brain. Your logical brain, your prefrontal cortex might know it's a trick. You might be saying, oh, that's nonsense.
Right.
But your emotional brain, the deeper part, seeking a reward, it still lights up when it sees 50% off F. The feeling is so powerful, it just bypasses our critical thinking.
That is wild. It's like an optical illusion for your wallet. You know, you look at one of those drawings where the lines look bent, and you know they're straight, but your eyes still see them as bent.
That's a perfect analogy. You can't unsee the anchor. And because retailers know this, they lean into it so hard. I mean, you walk into some of these department stores and almost everything is on sale.
Which begs the question, if everything's discounted, is anything really discounted?
Exactly.
Well, speaking of that, this brings up one of my favorite business stories of all time. We have to talk about the JCPenney experiment with Ron Johnson.
Oh, this is a fascinating case study. It's tragic, but fascinating.
So set the scene for us.
Okay, so it's 2012. JCPenney hires a new CEO, Ron Johnson. Now, this guy was a superstar. He came from Apple. He was the genius who created the Apple Store concept.
Right, the guy who made shopping feel cool and simple.
Yes. So he looks at JCPenney's pricing, which was just this chaos of constant markups to mark them down again, coupons, doorbusters, and he says, this is dishonest, we're going to stop.
I remember this. He called it fair and square pricing.
He did. The strategy was to just eliminate the fake markdowns. No more was $200, now $99. They just priced the item at $99, a flat, honest, everyday low price.
Which, logically, sounds great. I don't have to wait for a sale. I don't have to do math. It treats me like an adult.
Logically, yes. But practically, it was a disaster. I mean, a catastrophe. Sales just plummeted. They lost nearly $1 billion in 1 year.
But why? If the final price is the same or even lower, why did people stop buying?
Because customers complained that nothing felt like a deal anymore. Even though they were paying less in reality, they missed the win, they missed the red sticker, they missed that feeling of getting one over on the store.
That is mind-blowing. We are so addicted to the game of shopping that we actually punished a store for being honest with us.
We did. Ron Johnson took away the dopamine hit, he took away the transactional utility, and within a year, the whole strategy was abandoned, he was out, and JCPenney went right back to fake high prices and constant sales.
Wow.
The lesson is just undeniable. We often value the feeling of winning more than the mathematical reality of the price.
We're our own worst enemies. Okay, I want to apply this to a specific scenario from the analysis because it shows how sophisticated this gets. The winter coat scenario.
Yes. This is a classic example of contextual pricing. So imagine you're shopping for a winter coat. You've set a budget for yourself, say $90.
Okay, $90, I'm sticking to it.
You walk into the store, you see 3 options. Option A is the premium coat. The tag says was $220, now $120.
Okay, too expensive. It's over my budget. I'm moving on.
Right. Then you see option B. The tag says was $140, now $90.
Okay, that hits my budget perfectly, and it looks like a really good deal. I feel smart buying that.
And then there's option C. It's just a coat priced at $70. No sales sticker, just $70.
Okay, so objectively, Code C is the best deal. It saves me the most money. It's $20 under my budget.
Correct. But in this scenario, most people pick coat B.
Yeah, I can see why Code C feels, I don't know, a little risky. Like maybe there's something wrong with it because it isn't on sale. Coat B feels balanced. It feels like I'm getting a $140 coat for $90.
Exactly. And that is the trap. Coat A, the expensive one, it often just exists to make Coat B look reasonable. It's called the decoy effect.
A decoy.
The $220 anchor on the first coat makes the $140 anchor on the second coat seem like a steal. It nudges you right toward the store's target price. which was $90 all along.
So they steer me right into the middle, which is probably the most profitable option for them.
And consulting firms have data on this. Strategic anchoring like this can increase what you spend by double-digit percentages without improving the product at all. It is purely a shift in perception.
That's just manipulation. But surely this is easier to spot online. I mean, I could open a new tab and check prices instantly.
You would think so, but digital anchoring is arguably even more aggressive. You'll see that list price crossed out on Amazon or Wayfair all the time. Oh yeah, list price. $899, your price, $449.
Right. But what is that list price? It's often the manufacturer's suggested retail price, which nobody actually charges. It's a fantasy number. Or it's a price the item sold for 6 months ago for one day.
It's the digital red sticker.
It is. And it works because we make snap judgments. We see the strike-through, we think deal, and we click buy now before we do the research.
I want to talk about the cumulative cost of this because I can hear someone thinking, okay, so I bought a $55 blender I didn't need. So what? What's the real damage?
That is such a dangerous mindset. It's just 50 bucks. Let's go back to Emily. Let's say this happens 4 times a year. A blender, a sweater, some gadget. Let's say they average $60 each.
Okay, that's $240 a year. Not great, but it's not bankruptcy.
But zoom out. Over 5 years, that's $1,200 spent on deals she didn't actually need.
Okay, that's a decent chunk of change. And that's the opportunity cost. That $1,200 could have paid down credit card debt. It could have started an emergency fund. The danger isn't one bad purchase. It's the pattern of spending money you didn't plan to, all because a fictional number told you to. It just erodes your financial control.
That really puts it in perspective. So we know the trap is real. We know our brains are wired to fall for it. How do we fight back? The source material gives some defense strategies, and I think these are really practical.
They are. The first one is the desire test. It's very simple. You just pause and ask yourself, would I have been looking for this item if there was no sale sign on it?
That's good. If the answer is no, then the discount created the desire. You wanted the deal, not the item.
Exactly. The second one is the cover-up method. This is great for in-person shopping. You literally take your hand and cover the crossed-out number.
Just block it from your vision.
Completely block it out. Look only at the current price. If a blender is $55, ask yourself, is this blender worth $55 of my money right now? Forget the history. Does the price align with your needs?
I love that. It forces you to evaluate the product on its own merit. What about online?
For online, you have to use tech tools. There are browser extensions and websites that track price history.
Like Camel, Camel, Camel for Amazon.
Exactly. You can see a graph of the price over the last year. If you see the price has been flat at $55 all year, but today it says on sale for $55, you know it's fake.
It brings reality back into the equation. It pierces the bubble.
Another crucial one is the waiting rule. Just implement a 48 to 72-hour waiting period for any unplanned purchase over, say, 50 bucks.
That lets the dopamine fade, right?
Precisely. The urgency is artificial. If you walk away, that urgency evaporates. But if you actually need the item, the need will still be there in 3 days.
That is so true. The number of shopping carts I've abandoned and then totally forgotten about.
And the final strategy is a linguistic one. It's a mental reframe. When a tag says you save $60, I want you to mentally translate that to you spend $60.
Ooh, I like that. That's a powerful switch.
Because saving only happens when money stays in your account. Buying something on sale is still spending. It's an outflow of cash. You save sounds like a gift. You spend sounds like a transaction.
That changes the whole dynamic. Emily didn't wake up wanting a blender. She walked into a store, saw a fictional number, and her brain screamed, opportunity.
The sale tag created excitement, but the purchase just created an expense.
And that's the bottom line. Retailers have this down to a science. They test these colors, these fonts, these price points. It's completely engineered.
It is. And once you see the strings, once you see the anchor for what it is, you really can't unsee it. You realize the original price is just a marketing tool. It's not a reflection of value.
So here's the choice, really. You can keep chasing that rush of winning against these fake numbers, or you can recognize that the only figure that truly matters is the one coming out of your bank account.
That's it. The goal is to be in control of your own valuation, rather than letting a red sticker dictate what you think something is worth.
A huge thank you to everyone for diving in with us today. Next time you see that 50% off banner, give it a little wink, cover up that anchor price, and ask yourself what it's really worth. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.